Hi folks, how the hell are you? I'm having a great time because this is another one of my videos in my little series of videos entitled AMS2 version 1.2.2.0. Get your numbers right there, Tarmac. And the good, the bad and the bugly. And that's a little series of videos I've been doing about the last update to AUTOMOBILISTA2 by Reza Studios. What I like about it, what I don't like about it, any bugs I've found. And this is the kind of video I really enjoy making, because this video is about something I really love about the update, and that is the new 1974 Porsche 911 RSR. And I think this is the start of something beautiful for AUTOMOBILISTA2, because the last time I really enjoyed cars like this was from the amazing Power and Glory mod for GTR2, if you remember that, and also the amazing historic GT and touring car mod for R Factor 1, the original R Factor, ISI R Factor. And I know that there are more cars coming from this era. We've seen screenshots when this car came out. In the background there was also a Corvette. So I am hoping that AUTOMOBILISTA2 will be the sim to bring us more of these cars. Maybe they'll come out as a DLC pack. If you like me and you've got the season pass, that's great, because you just get those cars instantly. Anyway, to put this car through its paces and have a bit of a chat about it, I've decided to have a race. So we're going to go to Spa, and we're going to have medium-ish weather, bit cloudy, nothing more. European track for a European car. These are my settings. If you need to see those, we're at 102 difficulty for your reference. And we're using rolling starts. I'll explain why in a moment. Let's get out there. Now, you may think with a historic car, I should have used a historic track. I was going to. I was seeing as it's a German car, I was going to use historic 1970s Hockenheim. But when I started testing out this car, I just defaulted to Spa for some reason. And I got so into getting a setup to work with this track, because you really need to set this car up for each track. I think it's very setup dependent. I just got so into that I decided to go with the setup that I've got, because it's working well here at Spa. Also, when you first start driving this car, you really need to learn how to drive it, because if you go straight into a race, you'll think the AI are doing things you're just not capable of. But it's getting to learn how to manage that lift-off oversteer, the weight being at the back, and that push understeer that it's got. Also, I simply couldn't corner like the AI were until I changed the setup. So I've done a load of stuff to change the setup, and that's helped me keep up with them. But also I found that I was completely thrashing them in second gear. And I was thinking, why are they so slow in second gear? It's because the AI at over 100% difficulty level start using their own setups, and they are definitely using a different setup to the default. Their gearing is different. So very importantly, I was actually struggling getting out of low speed second corners, like coming out of La Source or something like that. So they're getting out of it just fine, seemingly loads of grip. You're sort of squirreling around. It wasn't until I lowered the gear ratio of second gear that I realised how they were doing that. And that's because they're just using slightly less acceleration, so lowering that second gear. I've actually played with all of the gears. Anyway, default clutches on your limited slip are 4. I've upped them 6 just to help with a bit of push, to help cope with that lack of sort of push oversteer. It's mostly push understeer with this car. That helps a little bit, but I still want that lift off oversteer, so I've got my rebound, slow rebound on my rear shocks up as high as it will go. The rear shocks are a bit stiffer than the front shocks. In general, the springs are quite soft. I could have them a lot harder, but it's working well for me at this level. Also, I found a big difference was upping the cambers as far as they'll go, because you're a lot of high-speed corners at this track. And also, I've taken the anti-roll bar at the back to as stiff as it can be and as low as it can be on the front to give us a bit more oversteer. Up the steering lock to as high as it will go. That helps cope with getting around La Source. And the other big thing was lowering the tyre pressures. That made a really big difference. So, let's get out there As I said, we're using a rolling start because unfortunately, like the Group A cars, these cars are rubbish at standing starts. And we are green here at Spa! Yeah, they're rubbish at standing starts. I find this with the Group A and quite a lot of the manual gearbox H-pattern type cars, that on standing starts, there's just no point in using them, because if that was a standing start, I would have overtaken the whole field by the first corner. So to solve that issue, use rolling starts. I hope Reza will sort that out at some point for both these cars and all of the other cars like the Group A's that have that problem. Right, should have stayed in fourth, full of sauce there. I changed the gear ratio specifically so I could stay in fourth for that corner. One thing about the AI around here with these cars, they have no problems with La Source. They handle, sorry, what am I talking about? La Source? Eau Rouge. They have no problem handling Eau Rouge at all. They're really good through there. Lifting off and then pushing out of the corner here. I do find that you sort of, you want to lift off coming into the corner and maybe even use a dab of brakes and then push out gradually, very gradually, and feather the throttle coming out, and that'll help you push out of the corner. Whoa, got a little bit wobbly there on the exit. Down to third. Oh, the back end of that Porsche in front there just looking absolutely fantastic. Such huge flared arches. We're all the way down to second for this corner. Oh, so close to the turquoise Porsche in front there. On the brakes and then feathering the throttle. So one thing I do find is that you out of corners you are constantly feathering that throttle. You really have to work hard at driving this car, and there's a lot of seesawing at the wheel going on. I don't know how you guys feel. I do feel that I'm sort of constantly on the putting in opposite lock out of corners. I don't know if that's a bit too much, a little bit overdone maybe, maybe not. I do also feel that the steering is quite slow, but then again it is an old car, so you know, maybe that is to be expected. I have never driven a 911 RSR from 1974. If you have, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Tell me what you think of the handling of this car. I did also feel that maybe I had a problem with low speed lift off understeer around very tight corners at very low speeds. Like even with those big fat tyres, the back end will want to step out at like 35 miles an hour if you're cornering really tightly. Might just be me, I don't know. Once again, let me know what you think in the comments. But I've got to say, I'm having an awesome time with this car. And I did give it a brief run around a couple of other tracks. I did try Hockenheim, but also I found an absolutely beautiful combination for this car is 1970 Silverstone. It's just, I might make another video with that track and this car, and or possibly the other cars that are coming from that era. Very gingerly coming out the corner, just a little bit slippery on the curbing on the exit there. Oh, the sound of this thing is just absolutely awesome. Got a little bit of power oversteer, sorry, going on there. It's quite, you really do find that you have to position the car sort of mid-corner to be able to get that to happen, otherwise it will just push understeer and you'll end up pushing to the outside of the track. I'm also lifting off in places I wouldn't expect to around here because of that kind of push understeer. But the setup that I've used has combated that quite well. We're now in 16th place out of 18 cars. Lifting for that corner there, down into 4th. And then just after the white line there, hard on the brakes, heel and towing down into 2nd gear. And we're getting out of that corner just fine. Previously I couldn't get out of there without a lot of wiggle. And that was because my 2nd gear was too high a ratio. Be interesting to see if this setup works well at the other tracks or if I'll have to change the setup drastically. I did find that around historic Silverstone I was using brake bias further towards the rear because you're only lightly touching the brakes there, but you're sort of braking into long corners. And look there through Rouge, they're getting around there really well. But we are now catching some slipstream. Up into 5th, we've pulled out. We're no longer in the slipstream, but the car beside us is in the slipstream of the yellow car in front. Can we nestle in here? I've still got the turquoise car side by side with me on my left as I go quite wide. Oh, very close. I had to give it to him. Dab of brakes. Just feather that throttle out. And there we go. Have to be careful around this corner not to use too much lift off. If you lift off too drastically, you can have the car coming, that back end coming right round on you. And you'll end up in an unrecoverable spin or skid. It will also, if you touch the curbs on the inside there, it will push the car, will upset it and push it right out as well. Feathering it, lifting off, a bit of feather, and then power out. Braking hard, there we go. I was lifted off too abruptly, used too much brake and almost lost it on that downhill off camber corner there. But yeah, I mean, I'm really enjoying driving this car, and you have to work to drive this car as well. But once you get used to it, oh, you don't mind doing it. And I've gone wide, but I am making it past. Can I outbrake the car? Be careful not to. Oh, just touched his back end. Sorry about that, mate, my fault. I'm going to go into 1st and boot it. Try and give myself a little bit of acceleration to catch back up with these guys. And that worked. So I'm pleased with that. We've got the yellow Porsche right beside us there. And we've made a better exit than he has as we approach Rouge. Lifting just to make it round the corner there. And look, the yellow Porsche there, if you can, I don't know if you can see my mirror, so I'll just look backwards. He's having a look at getting into our slipstream, and I can tell you he's there, he's in it. But he's backed out of going down the inside at this corner. So we've maintained that place. God, this is such good fun. Just love how involved you get with driving these old cars. And because of what they've done with the gears as well, you can, how RSR have updated the manual gearing, you can really rev match and heel and tow this thing, so change gear without using the clutch in most instances. Well, having said that, I was mucking about with some of the old, really old 1960s F1 type cars the other day, and I was heeling and towing all the time, but I did mismatch on one particular corner several times, and I ended up losing. I think I lost second or third gear, and I ended up driving the rest of the race without a third gear because I chewed up the cogs so badly. And we are now out of time, so this should be our last lap. Looks like we're going to come in 14th position. I've gone a bit wide there. Oh, the sound of that overrun just there was just gorgeous. Oh no! He's just made it past us on the exit. We lost the place, we're in 15th. But I enjoyed that so much. Whoops, sorry mate. Oh, that was brilliant. Let's have a little donut, because why not? Much fun. Well folks, I hope you've enjoyed that. This car is great. Maybe I'll do a few more videos with it around those historic tracks, but thanks for watching. Thank you so much RSR for this awesome car. And if you like my videos and you want to see more, then if you want this channel to survive, do me a favor and hit subscribe. May seem like a small thing to do, but it enables me to make more videos for you. By hitting that button you can help us thrive, so let's keep this channel alive. Don't cost nothing, don't take no time. Come on now, keep this channel alive.